Good morning, guys. Welcome back to a mini Mojo. I'm Nikki Fogden-Moore from the Vitality Coach TV and the Mojo Maker. You can check out more on vitalitycoach.com.au. Like and subscribe on YouTube. I'd love that. Hit the notification bell and you'll find out when I'm doing live videos and when freshly pressed podcasts and vlogs are coming out. So I've been doing this for 25 years, working in mindset, high performance coaching, health and well-being. But I think nothing for me has been like the last 18 months of really evolving into this quantum coaching and leadership that I've been doing. And most importantly, I think as well, as being in the trenches and going through so many of my own changes and actually having to do that work enables me to take you on the journey and be there for you when you're going to be faced with some of your groundbreaking, patterns that you're going to be going through at the moment. So many of you are confronted with lots of changes in your life, with lots of changes, not only personally, but also how you run your businesses, what lights you up. Probably due to COVID and ISO, you've been asking questions like, is this it? You've had more time to spend with yourself. You've had to review very, very fundamental things, such as what I call three-dimensional business structures around, budgets and staffing and your products and services and how you reach your customers, and just understanding whether or not you had a true future in the business that you're doing and how to roll that storm and what boat you were in. And then on the flip side of that, you were probably really confronted with what was going on in your personal world. So all the things that you might have worked to for this point could have been something that you've decided to go, I'm not sure if I'm really gelling with all of this anymore. So they always say that for one, I think, there's Abraham Hicks said this many times long ago. He said, for one person that is woke or awakened, that is worthy of millions of people that are on autopilot. So if you are listening to this and you're going through that kind of uneasy shift and you're like, there's just more out there and I know I can do more, but this is the stuff that I know. However, I'm being pushed into a new place. I'm being pushed into a new way of thinking. I'm being forced out of the nest, so to speak, of my old patterns. Then chances are you're going through your next evolution of who you truly are meant to be in this life and stepping into your real purpose. So bearing in mind that everything that got you to this point today when you're listening to this video is highly relevant, and that's all your experiences. So I always think people are afraid they have to throw the baby out with the bathwater and they have to completely kind of walk away from their entire life. Sometimes you might actually have to do that. And other times you're looking at just tweaking and evolving and refining what you're doing and bringing more of yourself out and bringing more of your skills out. But today's message is slightly a little bit different. Today's message, I want to talk to you about betrayal and intuition, because the greatest betrayal we can ever have is when we don't listen to our intuition. So often we get upset in business or friendships or relationships because we think something, someone, or a situation has betrayed us in some way. But I can guarantee you, if you take a moment to look back at that people, person, place or thing or situation, there was probably a little niggling, a little gut message, a little, I'm not so sure about this. And you probably just pushed that to the side and your head took over and you forged ahead anyway. So the greatest betrayal we can have is when we do not listen to our intuition. Now, the problem is in today's society, there's so much noise out there that it's very hard to get into listening to self. And I think this is the essence of the May coaching with me and the videos that I'm going to be doing, is teaching you the art of discernment between self-talk, the kind of the noisy chatter, and self, which is often monosyllabic. It's, one word. It's a yes or a no, or it's quieter. It's assured. It's a knowing. So let me just repeat that. Self-talk, which is usually driven by ego, past experiences, fear, shame, blame, guilt, not wanting to repeat a pattern, not wanting to put yourself in a compromising position. That self-talk is very, very noisy, chatty, bossy, kind of constantly churning ideas, heavy energy decision-making, lots of information, kind of a confusion state to come and end up with a decision. And self is a very simple, peaceful, almost instantaneous way of coming up with what the answer is. It's either a yes or a no. And you know it. We know it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But what we do is we ignore that little voice and we let our head take over and kind of rationalize us out of listening to that intuition. So this video is about understanding that if you feel betrayed by something, or someone, or if you feel let down by something or someone, or if you feel bamboozled by something or someone, it's actually because you're upset with yourself that you didn't listen to your intuition because you knew all along. But, in life we have these statements that cover up our gut feeling, such as, oh, we'll give that person a second chance. That can't be right. I would never do that. Oh, I don't know. It seemed okay at the time. All the kind of excuses are the reasons we give ourselves as to why we ignore the elephant in the room. And for many people, they go through lifetimes of relationships or lifetime in a job or lifetime in a certain contract or project that all along they had a niggling fact that this just wasn't really in alignment. So this little express session today is about teaching you to step into alignment. And the first thing is understanding that when you feel hurt or betrayed or pissed off or angry in a business decision or kind of that friction, the friction isn't with anyone else. The friction is the fact that you've ignored yourself. The friction is the judgment to self that you've let yourself down, that you did the silly thing of not listening to your intuition. The greatest thing that we can do in this life is access our knowing, our intuition, our deep, deep sense of truth. Because when you're in that place, the capability to make the right decision is exponential. So when you're in the place of truth, the capability to make the right decision is exponential. And then it's right for everyone. Because when you make a decision from truth, you can't go wrong. There's no maybe or people pleasing or manipulation of a project or squeezing something through that shouldn't be there in the first place. You're just coming from, does this feel right? So let's look a little bit about that feeling of making decisions from self, because there's actually a physical way that you know when you're in that place. I'm going to explain that right now. So mostly we are told to give 100% in our lives, to push through, to work hard, to kind of like, roll up your sleeves and get it done. And there's just this huge amount of energy that goes into convincing, almost selling. You're always selling yourself into your day all the time. You're almost selling yourself into your relationship, selling yourself into a project. You're constantly over-rationalizing, over-convincing, over-delivering. It's a lot of energy to be in something that's really not in alignment. And it's different from productive and different from working hard in a passion project or something that you really love, because it's effortless. You can spend hours doing it and you don't feel exhausted. But when you're in the place of alignment, you don't have any of that exhaustion. You don't have any of that burnt energy. You don't have any of that heaviness in the decision making, because you just know. And when you're in your truth, you don't have any anxiety. But however, we don't get taught to know what that feels like as kids or through school or through university, because we get taught outside validation techniques. If you do this, XYZ will happen. If you turn up like this, XYZ would happen. So we're given these narrow kind of windows of operational guidance on how to turn up in this world and how to show up in this world and how to maybe not say something that's on our mind because we don't want to, have any conflict. Whether it's in the boardroom or if it's in the bedroom, it doesn't make any difference. We shut down when our voice comes up and we go, oh, I don't want to say that because I want to avoid conflict. It's the worst thing you can ever do. That you must have the conversation with yourself and go, what is my truth? And then that feeling, that knowing will give you all the strength and the energy to stand your ground with grace and harmony and peace and conviction. Like a giant oak tree, in massive storms. Everything else can be crazy around it, but it has got a solid foundation. But if you build your contracts, if you build your future relationships, if you build your world post-ISO on a house of cards based on stories, ideas, manipulating things, building kind of construct that isn't something that comes from your heart, from your real grounded kind of decision making, then you're building your projects and your people and your places connections on a house of cards. Self-talk, not self. So, on the Reverse Mojo on Monday Mojo Live, I spoke about how the art of sitting with self is something that many people have had to master the past 6 to 8 weeks. But truly, it's our greatest gift, because when you can eliminate noise, you can listen to what you really should be told, should be doing, should be hearing. There's no kind of outside influence. Now, that doesn't take a week, and it doesn't take 3 hours of sitting in a meditative state. It can happen like that. But you have to practice and master that art of sitting with self. That kind of removing the veil, sitting the ego to the side, and being centered. So removing the veil, taking yourself away from chaos, sitting that black wolf, that ego, that noisy self-talk. Come on, why are you doing this? You got heaps to do. The distraction technique, because your ego doesn't want you to do anything that makes you completely happy, because it's running the show. And then taking yourself and just sitting. So the way to do that is to stop, and you can put 2 feet on the ground, never cross your legs or your arms, and just sit quietly, take a deep breath in, put your hand on your stomach and go, ask yourself the question. And then hear the first answer. So be very quiet, clear your mind, ask yourself the one question, then hear the first answer. It will be yes or no. That is your gut. And then enter from stage left, the self-talk. Oh, but blah, 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 blah. So often when I'm working with extraordinary leaders, I make them write 2 columns. If you couldn't fail, or if this new construct or this idea, just write all that down in the A column. And then the B column, you write down every blurt, every roadblock, every little statement that comes out that says but. So A is your, the unlimited possibilities column, that is your creativity, that is your true central source of your purpose, your power, your intellect, your emotional integrity. And then the B column is the buts. Oh, but. So often we hang on to situation, to people, to places, and to things. Even I think as you walk through your house, you probably go to have a declutter and you go, well, but I've had that for ages. We have to declutter everything. Every single element is there with an energetic frequency, but we probably hang on to things for way too long. And our little voice talks us out of letting it go. So just to recap, the greatest betrayal is not from anyone else. It's from ourselves when we do not listen to our intuition. But because of the last 20 years of society, the intuitive thinking, the intuitive decision-making, the grounded thought process, the pioneering design of your life has been eradicated by a sense of autopilot, by a sense of do this or, show this, get a like, should, would, could. This kind of external puppy-like validation. Is this right? Is this right? Am I doing the right thing? Surely that's not right. There's no sense of peace. So in this new generation, May onwards in 2020, I want you to ask yourself, what if I just took myself aside, just for a second, just for 3 minutes? And I just asked myself, what do I want? What do I need? What's the next right thing to do? And then listen to that first voice that comes up. And if you feel betrayed, if you feel hurt, if you feel upset, if you feel, just completely wronged, it's not because of anyone else. It's the deep, deep, deep sense of betrayal that you've betrayed yourself by not listening to that gut that knew all along that you shouldn't have done it in the first place. So don't beat yourself up. Take it as a lesson and start learning the techniques on how to truly access your deep, deep knowledge that will give you more energy, more power, more conviction, and more certainty than you've ever had before. So I hope this helped today. I've been doing this work for over 25 years. I probably just haven't come out and spoke about it a lot on my YouTube. I was always sort of, doing some of these little positive mojo things or something fitnessy. And I guess I've kept a lot of my private coaching work and the leadership stuff a little bit removed. And now I feel like it's very important that the more people we have empowered with this quantum decision making and the ability to really be centered, the better our society is going to be, the better we're going to have good money running through our companies, the better we're going to have a sense of confidence and conviction as individuals to know that when you're in your truth, true truth, not someone else's truth, not a projected truth, not a maybe they'll like me better truth, not a if I do this, it will avoid conflict truth, but the real freaking core truth. You can never, ever go wrong, and you never have to look over your shoulder, and you never have to feel anxious, because it is the most empowering place to come from. So come join me, just subscribe to YouTube, hit the notification button, leave me a comment, hang out on Instagram at Fogden-Moore, connect on LinkedIn. I hope you enjoy these videos. Thank you for joining me. It's Magic May. And I just want to encourage that you are the spearhead of your ecosystem. If you're watching this, that's because you are being put in a position to be in the driver's seat. No one else is going to do it for you. So step up. Take the veil off, stop, ask yourself the question, and listen to your gut. No self-talk, just self. Okay, guys, more on the vitalitycoach.com.au. You can also come and check out books, Fitpreneur, Vitality, 2 more coming out this year. I've got lots of great quote cards. If there's any way I can help you, please reach out. There's tons of free blogs, videos, podcasts. It's all up there with some amazing guests as well. So I wish you the very, very best centered day, practicing being in your truth, practicing the art of self. And if you want to read a bit more, read Eckhart Tolle, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and also a really cool book, The Courage to Be Disliked. Okay, wishing you lots of light and leadership blessings, and I'll catch you next time. Until then, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise.